transport.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, just want to make sure that she and Legacy Margate 9U gets credit for her showing up here tonight. So
actually, I put Tyler's name. He's 11U.
11.
Transport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
because you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
I think I just fixed it.
Okay, you did. Yeah, I think Mason's team had a lot of people that already did it. And so I decided I could either do my 9U or my 11U. So I picked my 11U tonight, which is Tyler.
Well, I don't know how many
you have on this.
What would you repeat that? I'm sorry.
How many people will you have on this call?
Well, before we updated it, there was just going to be 2, but now there should be 4. So we're only missing 1, and we're about to get started in like 30 seconds. So maybe they'll show up, maybe they won't. But either way, this should be a very fun and pleasurable experience and one of the easiest fundraisers that you guys have ever done. So again, thanks for being here. Marcia, Michael, thank you guys for being here.
Hi.
Hello. You must work at the computer since you have the fancy headset.
I actually don't have that many online meetings, so.
What do you do?
I'm in research administration at the VA hospital.
Okay. So you're with the humans during the day. I envy you. It'll be fun to be back into the public more full time. So let's see here. 8 p.m. We like to be punctual. Thank you guys for being here. And just a super duper quick, this is a testimonial, not for any other reason than most people have not been to one of our fundraisers before. And so I just want to be super clear. This is a fundraiser. Here's an example of a band, AC Reynolds High School Band, that raised over $8,000 to go to LA. They were going to perform at Festival Disney. It was the easiest fundraiser they've ever had. And the parents were thrilled because nobody had to buy or sell anything. So you guys can relax. This is just going to be a 30-minute Zoom conversation. If you guys want to stick around longer, I'm not going to go anywhere, but this is just 30 minutes of y'all's time to support something you guys care about and to learn about solar energy. There's nothing to be purchased here tonight. It's not going to be like a timeshare type conversation. So I just want to let you guys know that before we started. You could buy candy bars, and they can sell car washes, and there's coupon books. There's all sorts of things to be bought and sold when it comes to raising funds. This one's just for showing up and being open-minded and learning about solar energy. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. We actually get kicked off with intros. So if you wouldn't mind sharing your name, where you are in the world, who you guys came here tonight to support, and then you can answer this any way that you want to. But if there was no extra cost associated with going solar, so finances aside, if it was the same exact cost as what you're doing right now, so if you spend $200 a month, let's say it's $200 a month, but you could be using solar energy, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to do it? Just curious, like any things that knowledge you're missing or concerns you have or something like that. It facilitates a fun conversation this evening. So I'm John Carey. I'm in Hillsborough, North Carolina, right outside of Chapel Hill in Durham. And I'm one of the founders of Ovanova. So I'm here to support the organizations you guys came here to support. And since I went, I get to say who goes next. So Michael, would you mind introducing yourself next? You get to pick who goes after you. Let me unmute you, or I'll ask to unmute, and then maybe that'll help.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is Michael Grobe, and I live in Land O'Lakes, Florida, which is in the Tampa Bay area. I'm supporting my daughter, Madeline Grobe, who is a member of Color Guard for Sun Lake High School. And to answer your question about all finances aside, yeah, I'm a believer in sustainable renewable energy in principle. I think that's as we head out into the future. I mean, that's definitely the way I think we have to go. So yeah, all finances aside, yeah, I put up some solar panels on my house, and that would be great. And I felt like I'd be doing my part. So yeah.
Cool, man. Well, Michael, thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. Thanks for supporting Sun Lake. Is it just the color guard, or is this a color guard band combination fundraiser?
It is the marching band fundraiser. So because we're going into fall season, the color guard is considered part of the marching band. So they have their spring season, which is just color guard. But for fall, yeah, they're considered part of the marching band. Yeah.
Okay, some people say Sun Lake Band and some people say Sun Lake Color Guard, and I just wasn't sure if it was the same group of people.
Yeah. For right now, yes, it is the same thing.
Okay, well, again, thanks for being here. Who would you like to hear from next, Michael? We just have 3 other folks on the call with us.
Actually, I cannot see who else is on the call, so maybe you could just pick somebody.
No problem. How about Concetta?
Hi, I'm Concetta Sturzbach. I live in Pompano Beach, Florida, and I am supporting my grandson in 11U Margate Legacy Baseball. And I know that a couple of neighbors, not close neighbors, close around, but I know that people in my neighborhood do have solar panels on their roof. My husband and I noticed that.
Very cool. Have you talked to him about it?
No, like I say, they're not close neighbors, meaning not on my same block, but as we drive by, we see the panels.
So, Concetta, if somebody were to say, here's a free set of solar panels, what kind of things would you want to know before you let them put them on your roof?
Probably how they would be attached, what keeps them from flying off in a storm, how are they protected? Obviously, they're doing what the energy is doing right now. So, and I know zero besides the fact that the sun is powering them. So that's where I stand.
Fantastic. No, that's exactly why we created this fundraiser is, so you can learn about, are they going to be reliable? Will my roof leak? Are they going to stand up to hurricane force winds? So we can definitely touch on that stuff, and I appreciate you bringing it up, Concetta. There's only a couple other folks, so maybe we won't do, unless you want to choose between Marcia and Luke. Who would you like to hear from next?
Let's go, Luke.
Luke.
Hey, I'm Luke. I'm currently in Indianapolis and part of Team Nova. So just here to support the organizations that y'all are here to support. And the reason I wouldn't go solar is I currently rent, and I'm waiting to get an electricity bill so I can talk to my landlord about it. But, and then,
I was just going to say one thing, a plug about Luke. Luke's going to throw a link in the chat where if you guys wanted a custom solar design that is co-built with you, where we get on Zoom and we actually zoom in on your house and build a design with you and show you all everything right there. It takes like 20-30 minutes. Luke will actually be the one to help you with that, and he could probably create one for you and send you something preliminary over without your collaboration while we're on this conversation. He's quick. He can do it in like 10 minutes. So if you want to see a solar design, send Luke a chat and he could probably send you a link just while we're on this Zoom, just FYI. So, it's just something
can you give me a host so you can send me a message?
Yeah, no problem.
Sweet.
So, sorry to interrupt, Luke, but next is Marcia.
Hi, it's actually Marcia Weiss. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm supporting Parkview High School bands, where my son is a drum major. And I would be open to solar power. I guess my question would be probably a typical question: what happens when there's a period of no sun?
Okay.
How much energy can store?
Marcia. Did people say Marcia all the time, or am I the only one that's
all
bad?
the time?
Okay.
It kind of depends on what part of the country. Northerners tend to get it right, and as I always point out, I asked someone to spell Patricia, and they always spell it right. They can pronounce Patricia, but it's the same last 3 letters, but they have trouble with my name. But to make matters worse, there are people who go by Marcia. So
yes, what? Marcia. I'll do my best, Marcia. Thank you for being here, guys. Really. And so this is here we go. this is our best attempt. What you're experiencing right now is our best attempt to help our fellow humans learn about solar energy, because a lot of folks don't know how solar works when the sun isn't shining. And if I'm a homeowner, I have solar energy, but there's no way I would ever have solar panels on my house if I thought it was going to make my roof leak, or I was going to have to spend extra time that's valuable maintaining them, or if I was going to have flickering lights and I was going to run out of electricity when it was cloudy. So these are all necessary things to learn. And most people's typical way to learn about it is to go down a long Google research rabbit hole or speak with a salesperson. And most people are allergic to salespeople. So we tried to make a really friendly way for people to explore. And we really do believe that, just as Michael said, we definitely need to head into a future where we're not burning pieces of our planet to generate electricity. And we think that we think that logically speaking, financially, that's available for people. It's just a lack of data. So if you guys would, we got like 11 minutes, 21 minutes left here, as far as just informational data. And be curious. Please, if you can, stay unmuted and ask questions and challenge me if I say something that doesn't necessarily make sense to you. You don't have to worry about messing up a presentation. This is really designed to be a conversation. So all I'm saying is you matter. And if you have a question, I bet it would add value to the other folks on the call. So just go ahead and say it. Let's talk about it. So Team Ovanova, we're a fun group of people. Our mission is to add as much value as possible to as many lives as possible. We think that giving funds to bands and little league teams and ocean cleanup and deforestation, to people that are anti-deforestation, we think that helps the planet. Where we get our money from is we take money that the solar industry would normally spend on like Facebook ads and Google ads to sell people solar and sales commissions. And we actually give it to schools and churches to have Zoom conversations and educate folks. We've helped people go solar in 15 states. If you request a quote from Luke and you wonder why it's a lot less expensive than the other quotes you get, there are two things. We will not mark up our solar equipment. You will buy it for what we get it for. And we don't have marked up labor. We hire electricians and roofers, just like solar companies do, except for we don't mark up the labor. So without paying sales commissions, marked up panels, and marked up labor, you get what is arguably, a disruptive price that actually costs you less than what you're currently doing. And don't take my word for it. Please investigate. So this is our team. We care. That's what we're doing. As far as tonight's concerned, 7 minutes, just getting clear, making sure we're all on the same page. The Dalai Lama, he said, if we just listen long enough, we'll realize that we're all saying the same thing. And so I just want to make sure that we all have the same definitions for a few basic concepts. And then there's two things about solar that we cover, which is like, how does it work when the sun's not shining? And then a chance to actually register to co-build a solar design with us, or to ask questions after the next 20 minutes is up. So again, that's what tonight will be like. Hopefully that takes a little bit of a, no closing, no sales pitch here, just some education, and hopefully some curious folks asking questions. So here's a question, not rhetorical, but maybe. How long do you guys intend on using electricity?
Indefinitely.
That's a trick question.
Could it be rephrased as I'm going to pay an electricity bill for the rest of my life? Maybe, right? I mean, if you want a refrigerator, you're going to use electricity, and unless you make it yourself, then you're going to pay somebody to do it for you. So just want to be clear about that one. Is a lot of people, they just don't really think about it, because who would ever question whether or not they're going to want to have their lights on or their fridge cold? So And then here's a good one too. Do you guys know where your electricity is produced? Like how far away?
It's for me, it's regional. I don't know exactly how far, but I would probably say within probably a 100-mile radius.
Okay, so this is, so as far as if we're looking at doing something like you continuing to pay our electricity company for electricity or producing it ourselves, I just wanted to point out two simple things. One, your electricity bill will never go away. And two, you can own solar panels. Like you can own a panel, it's yours, sunshine is free, so that you can actually get rid of your electricity bill. So there's one concept. The other concept is if you rely on your electricity company, then you've got maybe 100 miles of vulnerable power lines separating you from the energy production. And electricity seems to be really important. If you think about the last time the power went out for me and my wife, before we had solar and a battery, the power would go out just because a tree fell on a power line and we wouldn't be able to watch Netflix that night. It seemed like it stopped everything. We were just like, when's the power coming back on? When's the power coming back on? I didn't even have candles last time. So either way, it's 2021 and you can produce electricity actually where you live now from sunshine. So those are just some simple concepts here that I wanted to be clear on. When you're looking at solar and the alternative of continuing to do what you're doing, it's not apples to apples, because you can pay off solar, you can't pay off your electricity bill. Your electricity bill doesn't add value to your home, whereas solar panels will definitely increase the value and it will definitely be more marketable. And these are things you can Google. I could show you sources, but I don't want to bore you guys with there's Berkeley Lab studies and Zillow studies, and I'm sure it makes sense that a house that produces its own electricity is worth more. And if you're going shopping,
Question.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
What is the lifespan of a solar panel? Because obviously nothing ever lasts forever.
Definitely. So I'll cover it in three ways. First, Bell Labs invented solar in 1954. The first solar cells that they put into practice are still producing electricity to this day. So we do not actually know the lifespan of a solar panel. But what we do know is that the new ones come with a 25-year warranty. And I'm sure that it makes sense that something that sits still and has zero moving parts is probably pretty difficult. It doesn't, if it breaks, it's usually due to something other than the actual malfunction in the equipment. But if there is a malfunction in the equipment, it's covered for 25 years. And the warranty is not based on whether or not the panel will work. It actually says that the panel will work to a certain degree of efficiency after 25 years, even better. The cheapest, like tier 1 equipment will still be 80% as good as it was the day as it was new after 25 years. Some equipment's 92% as efficient after 25 years. So that's a fantastic question. I hope that answered it for you. And because you asked it, I'm going to show you this solar installation in about 45 seconds. It might be helpful for you to see a few things and not just hear it from me. So check this out.
Step 1, prepping the roof for solar panels. Here, the team of 3 installers are placing racks.
I'll pause it here because Marsha, you asked about hurricanes. That wasn't you?
Probably someone in Florida.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was Consetta. Okay, cool. So no matter where you live, you're going to need a permit to go solar. And your local county building codes determine how your solar system has to be engineered. If you live up north, the engineering is going to focus on the weight on the roof, because snow and panels on a roof are heavy. And so we have to pay a lot of attention to what type of material is in the attic, 2x4s, 2x6s, what distance it is apart. In Florida, it's all about wind speed for hurricanes. But no matter where you live, you will not have a solar system permitted or inspected and approved unless it is properly engineered to be safe, because obviously it would be dangerous to have a solar panel flying through the air. So like you mentioned, Consetta, there are people in your neighborhood with panels, and there's a very elaborate process to make that happen. But the difference in engineering would be in Florida, there's going to be attachment points like this more often than there would be in a place up north where there's a lot less wind speed. So that I'm just showing you guys, there's a bunch of attachment points here and covering a conversation about wind and hurricanes and things like that.
On the roof that will hold the 24 solar panels. Step 2. Connecting the panels to the roof. The panels are mounted on the racking equipment and will soon begin to generate solar electricity. They are connected to a string inverter that converts solar energy into usable electricity. Solar panels are lightweight and very durable. They require no maintenance and they last more than 30 years. The Foremans purchased their system and will break even in just 5 years.
I didn't mean to let it go that far. So 2 weird facts I think are cool. And again, it's 2021. You don't have to take my word for any of this, but we have been working with churches and schools for 6 years, and they probably would have kicked us out by now if we were fibbing. But if you cover a roof with solar panels, then you're protecting your shingles or your tile or your metal or whatever you have from direct sunshine. And what do you guys think happens to a roof that doesn't get direct sunshine beating down on it for decades?
Lasts longer.
Yes, sir, definitely. And just logically speaking, you guys saw how this was put together, how there's rails underneath these panels holding them up off the roof by a few inches so their air can pass through. So as far as air conditioning costs, if there was sunshine beating down on this house all day, do you think this house would stay cooler inside with this basically panel shade tree, or do you think it would be cooler with the sunshine hitting the shingles directly?
Cooler with the panels.
Yeah, so these are just a couple things, not to mention all the other benefits we talked about that totally make sense about solar energy. And again, all this stuff is going to make the final piece of this puzzle sound way too good to be true. But that's why we designed this fundraiser the way we did. I mean, if you can show up and spend 30 minutes of your time learning about solar energy and create $50 for something you care about, that already sounds too good to be true. It's like, what am I going to get in some weird sales loop? Is it going to be a timeshare thing? Is it going to be awkward? The reality is, it's just as legit as the sunshine being free. It's just a different time that we live in now. So I'll give you one example of like, check this out, guys. Marcia, like, she laughed at that, right? Because these things are cool, but you don't see folks carrying around a pocket calculator anymore. It's in your iPhone. Technology changes the world, and the way we currently produce electricity, I won't bore you with it, but whether it's coal, natural gas, nuclear energy, all we're doing with those things is creating heat to make water turn into steam, to point that steam at a big fan called a turbine, to spin magnets and copper really quickly, to generate an electric current to send it down the power lines. That's expensive. It's not where you live, and you don't own it. So you will pay for it forever. So just like an iPhone makes way more sense than keeping batteries charged and a camcorder and a boombox and a calculator, owning a piece of equipment that's manufactured once from mainly sand, installed once, and runs on free sunshine is absolutely going to save you money. And so the last concept, thanks for being here, guys. Let's see here. The last concept is so this is a simple one. What determines the cost of solar energy? Would it make sense that what determines the cost is how many panels that you need? More panels means more money. And what do you guys think determines how many panels you need?
Size of your home.
That's close. There's a correlation between size of home, but
The amount of
have you ever,
electricity you need.
boom, you got it, Marcia. Exactly. I know people with big houses that are energy misers and people with little houses that keep their AC at like 40. So, but yes, how much electricity that you require in your home will determine how many panels, and how many panels will determine how much. So that's why if you guessed about what your average electricity bill was, we could get really close to how much it would save you to go solar. But if you actually looked at your last 12 months electricity usage and found out how many kilowatt hours you used, we could get it spot on, like exact. And we have software that allows us to do that. And again, solar's been around for 67 years, since 1954. It's like riding a bike at this point. We can look at your house. We can actually look at the sun's path over the 12 months of the year. You can see the months over here, and you can see shading from these trees, how it impacts during January to March and October to December when the sun is low in the sky. These trees cast a little shade on these panels. We look at the actual slope of the roof. We look at the orientation, and we can tell exactly how much electricity will be produced by a panel. And that'll let us know how many panels that you need to produce the amount of electricity you want. And that'll tell you the price. So that's the first concept, basic concept of solar. We just covered one of the two. We're almost to home, guys. Thank you. So the second one is, how does solar work when it's cloudy, rainy, or dark outside? So this is the one that might elicit some questions, but I'll cover it with 4 sentences, and then you guys can kind of direct me with questions. So solar panels generate electricity from sunshine. They produce more electricity than you can use when the sun is up. The extra electricity gets sold back to your power company. And after dark, instead of paying for that electricity, you actually use the credits that you sold back during the day. So what kind of questions do you guys have about that?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, earlier when you were talking about, you own the equipment, it kind of sounded like, you're getting energy and you're kind of on an isolated energy solar island. And what was going through my head when you were talking about that was the idea that you are still connected to your power company in some manner. And I think you just hit on that, which is you still have a relationship with your power company in just the manner you said. So anyway, it's not really a question. I guess it was kind of a confirmation of what I was thinking about when you were talking earlier about you have these solar panels, they're creating energy, they're powering your home. You don't have to pay somebody else for your energy, but there is that essential umbilical cord to your power company, correct?
Exactly. And that's what I really think opens people up to how solar could make sense, is that because you have that umbilical cord, Michael, your electricity will be exactly as reliable as it has always been. So you won't run out. If it's cloudy or rainy or dark, you still have the power company just like you did. So we design a system for you using that software that produces enough extra electricity during the daylight hours that you actually get a bunch of credits that you can use when it's dark, rainy, cloudy, or anything like that. So I have a question for you guys that might seem weird, but why do you think that a power company that sells electricity would ever buy electricity from you?
It's probably like a bank where they have everybody's money and it's your money, but they still actually use your money to loan out to other people or sell. Probably the same
Are you a
principle.
banker, Michael?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's a cool way to explain it. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, you remember how the utility company generates electricity. It's an old school, expensive way to do it. And because it's 100 miles away, they lose a lot of the electricity in transmission across the power lines. That probably makes sense. Distance that kind of bleeds off, right? So if they can purchase the electricity from you and sell it to your neighbors, just like Michael mentioned about banks using your money, they make out like a bandit because they don't have to generate it. It comes from sunshine. They didn't pay anything other than, and they didn't have to transmit it. So they didn't lose any across distance. And they treat it like rollover minutes. So throughout the year, when the sun is high in the sky, like the summer months, when there's long days, you can produce more than you need. And then in the wintertime, even if you're using more than you're producing, you get to use those rollover minutes. And some utility companies, if you produce extra, will actually pay you cash for it. Let's see, it looks like you guys are Florida. Let's see here. I know, so Tico, oh, that's Duke. Yeah, I have Duke, Michael. They if you produce extra, they won't write you a check for it. So you don't want to overbuild your solar and produce 120%. You want to get it right at 100. Whereas FPL, Consetta, they will actually, if you have excess at the end of the year, they'll write you a check for it. But they don't pay you what they charge you. They'll pay you a wholesale rate for it. So it's not like a super, I wouldn't quit your day job and produce extra solar energy. But they do actually write you a check for it. So hopefully that was helpful in relation to how does it work when it's, there's no change in your reliability. You don't need a battery at all because you have the utility company. A battery would be for folks who are the type of people who want a generator because they want to have electricity even when nobody else does. Does anybody here have a generator right now? Oh, you're muted, Consetta.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. We're in the process of having one installed. We're waiting for it.
Oh, nice. Well, if it's not too late to cancel, look into batteries. But yeah, a battery is exactly the same thing as a generator. It will allow you to keep the lights on when nobody else has them. The big difference is it doesn't have any moving parts aside from electrons. So you won't have a oil change. It's not loud. It doesn't require a fuel that you might not be able to get during a power outage. Like if your generator uses gas or diesel or propane, those things might not be accessible when the power's out, whereas sunshine shows up the day after the hurricane, right? And so there's quite a few other differences as well, but a battery is just one of those things that you can add to your solar system to allow you to not only produce electricity on site, which is pretty awesome, but also store your own electricity. So even if there's damage to these power lines, you'll be able to operate your home during the day and send the excess, not to the power lines because they're broken, but to your battery. And then at night, you'll run completely off your battery. Your solar panels do nothing at night. And then the next day, the sun comes up, it powers your house and recharges your battery, and so on and so on and so on. It's very expensive to get enough batteries to run your entire home, but it's very inexpensive to get enough batteries to do the same thing most people's generators do, which is keep their fridge, their lights, their outlets, most of their house functioning just as it was. And so I'm going to stop there again before did that bring up any questions at all, guys?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say a hurricane comes through. We had this experience a few years ago, 3-4 years ago with Hurricane Irma. So hurricane comes through, power goes out as the hurricane's coming through. Let's say the power stays out from your electric company for the next 5 days, but you don't have batteries with your solar system. What does that mean as far as your ability to have power in your home in that circumstance?
Good question. If you don't have batteries, your electricity will work identically to the way it does now. And that means that when the power's out, even if it's sunny. And the reason why, Michael, it's really simple. Remember how if it's sun shining, you're going to produce way more electricity than you're using, so it goes back out on the power lines?
Yeah.
Well, after Irma, what do you hope the power company's doing with all the broken power lines?
They're hoping they're fixing them.
Right, exactly. And if somebody's up on a pole touching one of these lines and you're an energy producer now and you're kicking it back onto the power lines, that's dangerous. So if you have solar panels without a battery, you have safety equipment that senses the grid is down and shuts your equipment off. If you have a battery, it disconnects you from the utility lines, and the excess electricity doesn't go onto the power lines, but it goes into your battery. So you have an alternate place for it to go. That's what allows you to keep your lights on. So yes, if you don't get a battery, then you will save money. Like if you go solar, I don't know if Lucas made designs. Sometimes we make designs for everybody, but for 95% of people, and sometimes more than that percentage, if you don't get a battery and you paid nothing up front to have your solar installed, it is significantly less each month to pay yourself to own solar than it is to pay the utility company. If you get a battery, sometimes it's close to the same thing, or $20 or $50 more a month, but you have that extra feature of lights on when nobody else has it. So that was a really good question, Michael. And that's actually one of the biggest disappointments for people that go solar, is the salesperson didn't key them into the fact that if they don't get a battery and the lights go out, their lights are going to be out, even if it's sunny. Right. But that is the truth of solar energy.
So essentially, if you don't have a battery, you are in a way still part of the grid. You don't have a direct line from your solar panels to the main power line into your house. You are still dependent on the grid to a certain extent. You are just saving money because you are generating power. It's just going back into the grid, and it's being subtracted off of your power bill, essentially, right?
That's close to being accurate. You do get first dibs on your energy. So you actually do feed your electrical panel first. But if your electrical panel doesn't have a signal from the grid, it will shut down your solar panels. So yes, you are relying on the grid in that way because of the safety equipment that's built into it. So kind of right. It's not like you're bypassing your house. You do have a direct line into your main panel of your home. It just won't operate without a grid signal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the clarity and you asking it the way you did. So, and so last concept, and then again, you guys are fantastic. I love it when people ask questions. I can tell you guys it's cool to see people's faces and listening. This is our favorite thing to do, is help the world learn about solar energy. And most of you guys said this at the beginning. If solar costs the same thing, then there's no reason why I wouldn't want it, unless, I think Marsha, you mentioned like roof leaking or just integrity of your property and things like that, which it would be inspected. There's warranties. If a hurricane did destroy all your equipment, that's what homeowners insurance is for. That's an act of God. It would cover your car if a hailstorm destroyed your car window. It would also cover your solar panels. We check everyone's homeowner's insurance to make sure that it covers panels as is. And so far, I think in 6 years, I might have had 2 people that needed to modify their homeowner's insurance. It's usually out of the box, takes care of everything. So you're probably in that boat. But we do check it to make sure. There's a 25-year product warranty, or warranty on your solar panels if it's manufacturer issue. So you've got your acts of God covered. So, and there's no maintenance. They don't have any moving parts. You're not going to have to change the oil on your panels. The rain cleans them. So the big issue is people don't understand the finances. So I was going to take a second, cover this, and ask questions. So most everybody that we build designs for can get 100% of their electricity from the utility from their solar panels. But that wouldn't get rid of your entire electricity bill. You'll still have that cost to stay connected to the utility grid. Florida Power and Light charges, I think, $8.35 a month, even if you didn't buy any electricity from them. Okay, Duke, Michael, it's $15.81. That's what my bill is every single month. I don't pay anything for my electricity, but I pay to keep connected to the power lines. It's so, you know, it's a good deal for me. I like knowing that I can't run out of electricity no matter what. So that this is a fixed cost that won't go away, but the units of electricity you purchase will. And your solar, it costs whatever you want it to cost. Just like the mortgage on your home, you guys chose your mortgage. You guys could have paid cash. You could have paid 15 years. You could have paid 30 years. Michael, what did you choose, 15 or 30?
30.
Okay. And you're familiar with the implications of paying something off in half the time and the financing costs you would have saved and all that, right? But you chose 30. Yeah, exactly. Totally. And you could pay off your solar panels in 5 years if you wanted. But you could also do what my wife and I did. And we said, you know what? We're never, ever going to pay off our electricity bill. So let's pick a 21-year loan for our solar panels. So we actually pay less every month than we're paying for our electricity bill. We're saving money month to month. And that's the example here. This person's solar panels cost them $90 a month. Their units of electricity they paid for was $127. So they're saving $37 a month without paying anything upfront. No cost to have it installed, activated, warranted. It's producing electricity. It's kind of like if you moved into a house that you own versus a house that you rent. You don't keep paying your rent and your mortgage. You take the money you were spending on rent and you pay your mortgage. And for most people, especially if you chose a 30-year mortgage, your mortgage is less than your rent was. Is that accurate, Michael, in your experience?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So based on all the things that you learned tonight, do you believe that it's possible that you could actually pay yourself less money to own solar panels than you would pay a utility company to do all that crazy stuff to generate all that electricity far away?
If we could finance the entire cost, yeah.
Well, we help people do this all the time. It's a real thing. And my true belief is the only reason that you don't see solar panels in more places is because of how people are approached about solar and how busy we are as humans. So my request of you, yes, ma'am.
Could my husband sign up for one of these to be able to listen also since he's away?
Yes, ma'am. Of course. And guys, I have to apologize. I got carried away and excited with Michael's questions, and I see that it's 8:41. So I really am. I'm sorry. I usually just make it. So thank you guys. First of all, you guys have been fantastic, and I'm not going anywhere. I just wanted to let you know. My simple request of you guys is if you heard anything tonight that remotely told you that solar might make sense for you, please click that link that Luke put into the chat, or this is the number that my mom has for me. It is, if you can text or call anytime. The preferred way is doing what I'm about to do on the screen. So this is the preferred way, what Luke put on the screen. So it's click that link. And the reason it's preferred is because it automatically sets up a Zoom where we can one-on-one screen share. I can zoom in on your house. I can add, remove panels. It can be super professional and laser and respectful of your time. So you just click that link, and it'd be, doing it now is the coolest thing, right? When you go to the dentist, they always set up the next appointment when you're at the dentist because they know it's good, but people are busy. So you can click a link like Wednesday, click a time that's good for you, 2 p.m. And then all you have to do is stick in a few pieces of information, and it'll automatically set up a time that works for both of us. And that's the preferred way. If you're old school, no problem. And you're more like, let's talk on the phone type deal. The number that my mom has for me is 919-413. I'll put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, do that, please.
Yep, 3880. So I'm repeating it again, 919-413-3880. My name's John Carey, and I'm super grateful that you guys took time out of your day to learn about solar energy. And the truth is the truth. Google is out there. If you're not paying for marked up equipment, and you're not paying for salespeople to drive around in cars and knock on doors, or telemarketing systems or Google ads or Facebook ads, and you're not paying for marked up labor, then it actually costs you money to not be using solar electricity. And if there's a sense of urgency created here, it would just be from recognizing that every month that goes by is another month that could have been taken from paying rent to Duke or FPL that could have been paying off your solar equipment. And we could be living in a world that really does make a lot more sense. And so, and again, I'm not going anywhere. I just don't want you guys to feel captive, and everybody's so polite nowadays. They'll be like, oh, that was like 40 minutes. He said 30. And I just, again, I want you guys to realize that we're here to support, but you matter. You really do. And we can make a difference. And one way that would do that is just getting to the bottom of this thing. Because if the stuff I said is true, you guys could not only go solar without spending extra money and nothing down, but you can actually save money. So again, thank you so much. And
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Can't wait to meet your husband, Concetta.
Yeah,
Have a
I'm
great
gonna
day.
have him definitely sign up when he gets back home.
Fantastic. Happy Tuesday.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Yes. Good night, Marcia. Good night, Concetta.
Good night.
I'll ask to unmute you. We can hang out for a sec if you want and decompress and recap that. Definitely more effective than the ones in the past, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say you got what you wanted and people listened for the most part.
Yeah, I think it'll be even better in a 2-part fundraiser.
I agree. Where it's like, come here and get the basic knowledge and then personalize it.
Yeah, totally. Because I had to be as, like, I had to really dig to give more information so people would potentially possibly sign up for a time later. Whereas if it's like, you get $25, I bet everybody was like, and we'll pay $25 more to the cause if you just sign up to do it again.
Yeah. You'd be like, oh, cool, here we go. I think you're right.
So, yeah, I think it would have been super cool to have some of those designs made, though.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, this would have been a great OC to have designs.
Yeah. And
I was sitting here and my computer is blown up right now. It does not want to work. So I'm like putting a panel on like every 30 seconds.
I always like to think about something like, if we had unlimited resources, how would we do things? And I think everybody would have a design, So but right now I think it's fine that we're not, because I know personally for myself, I didn't have the time to put into designs today. And I know Holly's busy with Rich. And so with you and you guys were kind of on call for warm people designs. So I just don't think we could have gotten all of them done with what we had on our plate.
Yeah, could have done them last night, but.
Right. And maybe that's what we can make that decision tomorrow if we really want to go for that for the next couple of weeks. But I did see if I had proof for some of those people, because the way it was set up, it's just like, and guys, this is accurate, real stuff if you were right about your number. But if you weren't, it doesn't change the fact that it'll be less. It just changes the numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
So
no, I think there was definitely people that if you would have shown proof, it would have been like, oh, okay.
Right.
I agree. I think, I don't know, just after watching those, I think we should make the designs regardless of how
Hey, Abby, what's up?
mild it is.
Hey, are you on a call right now?
I'm just with Luke on Zoom. Is there something I can do right now, or?
Clearly belongs to someone, and I don't know what to do with it.
Does it have a name tag?
It's on the most dangerous possible road. It has no collar.
Well, bring it home, Abby.
Bring it home?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna release it back on the road? Does it have a collar with a name?
I'm not gonna release it back on the road, but.
All right. Well, we'll post it on Facebook and ask people to post it on Facebook, and and then we'll call the animal shelters and let them know that we have it and what it is. So if people call the animal shelters, and that's about all we can do. Aside, okay.
I just want to make sure you're okay with me bringing him home.
Well, will the kittens be okay with that? Is who
It's,
should,
it's all not great, but we'll keep them on the front porch is what we'll have to do, but can't leave them out here.
all right. Well,
It's on the windy road. It's not gonna walk right through the middle of the windy road.
maybe Uncle Dan got what he wanted as a puppy, but we'll try to find the homeowner for the owner first for sure.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. I'll see you soon.
All right. Love you, babe. Bye.
That's funny. You're getting more animals, aren't you?
It won't. It'll go to the farm if we have to keep it. But
Um,
I mean, if it's sweet and it's well fed, its owner probably wants it back. And so
Yeah.
far, Facebook has been amazing at helping people find lost animals. So,
have you found a lot of lost animals?
well, Victor found that dog on the highway and found the owner for it. You remember? I mean, that was like a wild experience. It was like a dog on the highway, and yeah. So it definitely happens on a
I hadn't
regular
heard
basis.
about that. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
super fortunate.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, we got the right thing to do is bring it home, and then we'll just go from there. So yeah, that's cool. We'll talk about it in the morning, and yeah, it would have been cool to have them done. I just
I
spent the
sent
fall.
Connie's to her, and then David for Gala. If you just want to look at the shading, that'd be great. I think for that
Oh, yeah.
house in particular has such a low utility bill that it's important that we get the shading right.
Correct. Yeah, no, that sounds good. I mean, I just know I've been at the computer since yoga.
Yeah,
this
I
morning.
know. Yeah.
So I'm
But-
just trying to find a life not sitting at my computer. But I have been intermittently doing kettlebell swings and pull-ups. So yeah,
Have you really?
yeah. Otherwise, I'm gonna turn into a blob with how much time I spend at the computer. But yeah, man, cool. I appreciate all the work you're doing. Thank you for being present for these.
Yeah, I've got a dentist appointment at 1 tomorrow, and then I'm leaving for Texas at like by 6 a.m. Thursday. And then I'm
Yeah, so maybe-
volunteering charity event all day Friday. So
Cool. What charity? St. Jude's?
no, it's the Heffler Strong Foundation. There was a guy in my fraternity, about a year younger than me. His name was Zach Heffler, and caved into Ole Miss and had just gone through remission with cancer. Beat it, and then it came back and beat him. So his parents started a big foundation. So I like to help out with those things.
Cool. Oh, thanks for doing that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you're in it. You're doing it. You're living the mission. Thanks, Luke.
Yeah. I don't think I told you my dad's trying to do a mission trip. Like, not really a mission trip, but like he's gonna go and he's joining up for this organization where he's gonna be on call, and they're just gonna like basically like on call send him somewhere for 3 weeks.
Yeah, your dad's so cool, man. We just got to recruit him to the mission. I don't know how it'd be for you to work directly with your dad, but he's a pretty rad dude.
I think it'd be fun. I don't know. I got to call his 2 buddies tomorrow. He just never let me know whether he texted him or not to dad, which he told me to wait for. So my dad's telling me to wait for something. I like respecting that versus just jumping.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we have all the time in the world, and we got a lot of work to do.
I know. Damn, this woman has such.
Well, I'll check out that shading. I missed a call from my mama, and I got a couple other things I need to do before Abby gets back with this puppy, which I'm sure is going to be wild. So yeah, man, we'll see you tomorrow.
I'll get the rest of those designs that people requested out. There's only one more other than David's.
Oh, that you actually had people request them on the thing?
No, they were shooting. It was only the first OC where people actually shooting a message that they wanted their designs.
Because I actually told them they could. That's cool. They requested.
Yeah,
That's nice. I need to do it on all of them. So if you have any interest in a custom solar design, shoot Luke a message right now. Cool.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Ian for his email, and I was just going to send him one. Be like, hey man, you look like you're probably one of those guys that like see things on paper. So I'll just go ahead and send you yours. What's your email? Because he signed up with his daughters, but
we'll print it and mail it.
Exactly, right?
I actually printed a design today to send to the owner of Al's Burger Shop, Jack. Because either way, I printed a design because he was old school.
Funny. I was going to ask the guy. There's a CBD shop near me. The guys are actually really cool. and I was gonna ask them if they wanted, if they had heard about it, because they have like their own house and everything too. So
Well, cool. Well, hey, hope to see you at yoga in the morning. Either way, I'll see you at 9.
yeah, I need to try and wake up for that. All right, peace.
You sound like you didn't sell books. I need to try.
Yes, yeah, come on now.